Welcome and to another Satchel class. Today we are going to talk about La Red. It's a Key Stage 3 Spanish topic, but you can also use this for your Key Stage 4, and what you're going to learn today is going to help you a lot when you want to give your opinions, and you're going to be learning a very interesting structure in Spanish that we use a lot. My name is Felix, and I'm going to be your instructor today, and I hope by the end of the lesson you're going to be uh, feeling more confident about what you know in Spanish. So without further ado, let's start our lesson today. Um, so the topic is La Red. La Red. And what you're going to be learning today, or what we are going to learn today, is words related to the internet. We are going to create sentences on what we can do on the internet. We are going to be able to read personal opinions about the internet and answer some questions about them. And finally, we are going to be able to write our own personal opinion about the internet. I'm going to do this in Spanish so you get familiar with the way how we speak in Spanish and my accent as well. Hoy vamos a aprender palabras relacionadas con la red. Vamos a crear oraciones sobre lo que se puede hacer en la red. Vamos a leer opiniones personales sobre la internet. Y vamos a escribir nuestra opinión personal sobre la internet. Now, a couple of things here is that we can say la red or we can say la internet. Um, of course, we want to avoid any words that sound too much English, if you like. So always try to use la red, which is much easier to remember, and you will be given more points if when you say la red as opposed to saying la internet. Okay? So I'm going to show you some icons here, some pictures for you to uh, see, and I want you to start thinking how you would say this in Spanish. What are the words that we use in Spanish for each one of those? For information, for news, for videos, for eBay or online shopping, actually, for music, for video games, for email, blog, and finally for social media. Now, all of these words, by the way, of course, we can use the English version of them in Spanish, but remember, always try to use the translation as opposed to the word in English. You will get more points. So let's start with the first one. So we have I, information, información, noticias, videos, tiendas en línea, música, videojuegos, correo electrónico, blog, redes sociales. Right. A couple of things before we continue is that, as you can see, when I pronounce información or información, because I come from South America, we actually don't say that. You won't lose any marks for doing that, by the way. It's just a different accent, so to speak. But if you feel more comfortable using the Spanish version or pronunciation of the word, feel free to do this. Información, noticias, and you will be given points for that as well. So either or, you won't lose any marks because at the end of the day, it's like British English versus American English. It's a matter of taste more than anything else. Okay. Also, if you look at here, I have eBay. And the thing about eBay is that it's very easy to fall in the trap of saying just eBay because it's kind of a company name. But you will get more points if you say tiendas en línea. Okay. The same with email, correo electrónico. So these long words will give you more points because, of course, you will get, you will show more knowledge, more, I would say, confidence when you're speaking in Spanish or when you're writing your texts in Spanish. Now, all of these words actually have genders. You know, some of them are masculine and some of them are feminine. So can you guess which ones are masculine and feminine? I'm going to give you 10 seconds for you to think which ones are the masculine ones and which ones are the feminine ones. 10 seconds for that. Okay, so let's have a look. Here we are. So we have la información, las noticias, la música, las tiendas en línea, las redes sociales. All of those words are feminine. Some of them, by the way, are in plural because we use them in plural, like las noticias o las redes sociales o las tiendas en línea. Los videos, los videojuegos, el correo electrónico, el blog. These are in masculine. And of course, they are plural. And check the difference between el, los. So when you are saying el, you're talking about a masculine in singular. When you say los, is a masculine in plural. Really important for today's lesson. Now, in order to make sentences, of course, we need verbs, we need action words, and these are very important words or verbs that you will need. By the way, these are on the AQA website, which feel free to go and check online, or actually just when we finish this video, feel free to watch the video again, pause, write down the words, take a picture if you want with your phone right now, and then you're going to be able to learn a lot more. So important verbs today are acceder a, sorry, acceder a, adjuntar, borrar, cargar, colgar o subir, crear, desactivar, descargar, enviar, grabar, guardar, hablar, mandar, navegar, publicar, recibir. Very important words when you talk about technology. Some of them look very similar to English, which are cognates. These are words that look similar to English. And feel free to use them, okay, if you know how to use them well. My suggestion is always go for those words that don't look so English, because then you're going to get more points. So, for instance, feel free to use the word adjuntar or borrar or subir. That's an interesting word that we use a lot in Spanish, by the way. Guardar, very common as well, but all of these ones are very used or very familiar to us in Spanish. So today we are going to see se puede, se pueden. And we're going to be combining these two structures or these two phrases with the keywords that we learned earlier with the verbs. Now, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to say what you can do on the internet, and you're going to be able to understand a text describing what someone does on the internet. And finally, you're going to be able to write a short paragraph about activities that can be done on the internet. So let's do it. So let's have a look at this sentence in English. Say you want to say you can watch videos. You can watch videos, and you think, how do I say this in Spanish? Right. The first thing you need to think of is the noun. This word here, videos. And you need to think, is this in plural or is it in singular? Now, if the word is in plural, right, we need to make a slight change here to the word pueden. We need to add an N. That's a plural, se pueden. If your word is singular, then you say se puede. Now, for instance, in this case, you can watch videos, se pueden ver videos. So remember that if the word is in plural, you need to add an N at the end. And that, of course, is going to show how much you know about Spanish. Okay? Not really difficult to remember, very important though. So let's do a little bit of practice. Let's translate some sentences into Spanish, into English, sorry. And by the way, think about this. How would you say, I like the internet because? And then you add the sentences at the end. So, for instance, se puede buscar información, se puede subir información, se puede descargar información. So as you can see, I'm using the same structure. All I'm changing is this word here in the middle, buscar, subir, descargar. If you can remember them, get your dictionary, practice with them, get your keyword list, and double check what they mean. Okay. Also, if you want to add something like I like the internet because, that would sound something like this. Me gusta la red porque se puede buscar información. And that's a wonderful sentence that you can use always on your writing piece or when you are actually doing your speaking exam. What about the news? Se pueden leer las noticias. So remember that here, because news is plural, you then need to say se pueden. Se pueden leer las noticias. You can also watch videos, se pueden ver los videos o se pueden crear los videos. Now, I have put these laws in brackets. Why? Well, because you can use either, you can say either se pueden ver videos, so you don't need to use los, or you can say se pueden ver los videos. Now, which one is better? Either. There's no difference whatsoever. It depends on how you feel more comfortable. So if you feel more comfortable saying se pueden ver videos, that's fine. But if you want to say se pueden ver los videos, that's absolutely fine. There's no problem whatsoever in that case. Now, this is my favorite sentence of all of the sentences you are going to be learning today. Se pueden comprar productos en las tiendas en línea. It's a long sentence. It's a very good sentence for you to practice with. Okay. Now, as you can see, I'm using a cognate, a similar word to the one in English. Products, it's productos, and en las tiendas en línea. And it's a long sentence. And if you say something like, me gusta la internet porque se pueden comprar productos en las tiendas en línea, that's a long sentence that helps a lot on your final mark. Okay, always feel free to come back to the video, write it down, put it in kind of your data bank of sentences or words. If you don't feel like very confident and you feel a bit confused and baffled by all of these amount of words, feel free to just omit or leave out productos. Just say se puede comprar en las tiendas en línea. There's no difference whatsoever. The only thing you need to remember is you don't need to add the N at the end, because here you're not saying what you're buying. You're just saying that you can buy. Okay? Se puede descargar música o se puede descargar la música. Se puede escuchar música o se puede escuchar la música. Once again, in brackets because it's optional. Feel free to use either or. Se pueden jugar los videojuegos. Se puede mandar el correo electrónico o se pueden mandar los correos electrónicos. Another very good sentence to use. By the way, you can swap words, for instance. You can, instead of saying mandar, you can say leer. Se puede leer el correo electrónico. Se puede escribir el correo electrónico o se puede redactar el correo electrónico. You don't know what those mean? Get your dictionary. Use it. Make use of that very good tool that you have. Dictionaries are very useful. Very useful. Se puede escribir el blog. But also you can say, se puede escribir un blog if you don't want to be very specific. Just a blog. And that is also a very good sentence, a valid one to use. Finally, we have social media. Can you remember how to say social media in Spanish? Yeah, redes sociales. Se puede acceder a las redes sociales. Now I have these two very nice people here. I've got Claudia and Ricardo, right? So I'm going to read what Claudia says. Me encanta la internet porque se pueden ver videos y jugar videojuegos. Pero lo que poco me gusta es que se puede comprar en eBay y se puede ser víctima de fraude electrónico. Now, as you can see, she used eBay. Why? Well, because at the moment she's using all sentences that are very, very, very good to be used. Say, for instance, she's using pero, but, which means that she's using a connector, and using connectors is very important as well. She's saying that she loves the internet as well. That's great. And more importantly, she's actually using very new language, which I hope, if you don't know, you can check on your dictionary. And you will. I'm sure you will. Now, Ricardo says this. En mi opinión, la Internet es muy útil porque se pueden descargar archivos y también se pueden leer las noticias. Me encanta subir música y fotografías en las redes sociales. ¿Qué piensas de la Internet? Couple of things about what Ricardo says. First of all, he's using lots of good words there. Nice, very well written, very well expressed, you know. But also he's asking a question. So don't forget, can you ask questions to your teacher? Feel free to do so. You know what? We as teachers, we love you guys when you ask questions to us in Spanish, because that shows that you are more confident. And I'm going to ask you some questions about, them, these two people, and see who says what. Who downloads music from the internet? So have a look. Can you guess? Can you see who's downloading music from the internet? Yes, Ricardo, of course, he says that he loves music. You know, who reads the news online? Just try to see where you can find the word for news in Spanish, and that's the first thing you need to do. News. How do I say this? And always check. So news is not in this paragraph here. It's here. So clearly it's going to be Ricardo. Always use words that you know that are familiar with you or to you, and that you can actually use to find the information. Who thinks it's risky to buy online? That's a good one because we don't see the word risky, but we know that we can see the word victim here. Victima. Yeah, Claudia. She is. She says that it's risky. Why? Well, that's a bit of a homework for you there to see why she says that it's risky, or how she says, or how she feels about buying online. Who uploads on social media? Well, do you know how to say upload? We saw that earlier. Yeah, subir. So who does it on social media? Can you remember how to say social media in Spanish? Yeah, redes sociales. Well done. So that'll be Ricardo. Who plays video games online? Now, this is a very easy word to check. It's a long word, so it'll be a long word in Spanish as well. And we have it here, videojuegos. And of course, it's going to be Claudia. And I know she doesn't look much of a gamer, but hey, you never know. Who loves the internet? Well, we need to check love. Me encanta. Well, both of them actually use the word me encanta, or the phrase me encanta. Claudia says that she loves the internet, and Ricardo says that he loves the internet as well. Now, really important, try to write a description of what you can use, in terms of the internet, what you could do. So I'm just going to write my own opinion here. I'm just going to write what I do on the internet. I'm going to give my own opinion. Me encanta la red, que es muy útil. Okay, now I won't be using any uh, uh, I would say different symbols in order to show the stress of the words. Remember that we use what we call tildes, which are very important. And let's see if you can find where they go in these paragraphs. Me encanta la red porque es muy útil. Se puede subir fotografías y enviar o mandar correos electrónicos. También, that's a very good connector. Se puede escuchar música y ver videos. Lo que no me gusta es que hay muchas noticias negativas. And there's a sentence there that you can use on your written piece. So it's very important to remember that all of this, can be done easily. And don't forget to ask your teacher for the following. Ask your teacher, how can I improve my sentences? How can I do my sentence even better? And remember that you can improve your sentences by using past tense or future tense. Okay, so if you feel like I could actually say there like something like I used it yesterday when I was at my friends, feel free to do so. And once again, that's a bit of homework for you to try and think, how could I say that in Spanish? Also, use connectors. They are really useful when you're actually speaking in Spanish and when you're actually writing your sentences in Spanish. Finally, and most importantly, use words that don't sound like English. Okay, and why am I saying this? Well, very simple, because it's very common for many students to fall in the mistake of using eBay, internet, like I did earlier. You know, we don't we try to avoid those ones so that we show that we are very confident and that we know what we are doing. Okay, so I hope that you have enjoyed today's lesson, and you should have able, just let me just clear my screen here. Good. You should be able now to say what you can do on the internet. You should be able also to give your opinion and use connectors. And finally, you should be able to understand what other people say about the internet. I hope I can see you soon and have a very good week. Éxitos. Goodbye.